Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another show of Dead Radio. And today, obviously, we always have special guests.
I'm a guest, man. I'm not special.
Yeah, I got a guest in the studio.
I'm just a guest.
I don't
Nothing
do
special.
I don't do the whole telling people who you are. Like, introduce yourself, by the way, and tell them what you do as well.
I'll tell people.
So, yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
You
me.
know what I mean?
I love your COVID. I'll have some of your COVID.
So before I tell you, that camera's for me, that camera's for us, and that camera's for you.
Okay, so I gotta play that.
Yeah, and there as well. But you can even look at me.
And
if you want,
that's
but
for you.
That's for me.
And that's
For us.
for us. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't even have
So
to
I'm
look
gonna
at
be
it.
like,
But you don't even have to look at any camera.
That's
like,
good information.
It's a
to have.
conversation. It's a conversation.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, tell
Like that, it's performative. So I gotta have my humans are performative beings.
What makes you say that?
I mean, if you look at kids now, like when I was 5 or 6, I wasn't aware of any cameras.
Right.
Like, so, like I have family pictures, right? When we take pictures as a family, and that's what happens. But now a kid who's 5, 6
In front of a camera.
is aware of a camera.
Right.
Like even if in them being a child, they understand the idea of being filmed.
Right.
Which
right.
is crazy. So which means they understand the idea of being performative.
Right. And I see that now even when they like post kids on
Yeah,
Twitter. Like,
the kids are very performative, and you're like, oh shit. But I mean, human beings are performative creatures anyway, because
that's just how it is.
it's just how it is. Yeah,
It's just how it is.
It's literally how it is. So knowing where the camera is, you know how to play. when someone is campaigning to run for president, it's performative. They have to get energies high.
You have to wear the
It's
right
performative.
tie, color,
Yeah.
all that bullshit.
Performative.
Yeah. So
So
what's
life
your
is
name?
performative.
What's your name?
My name is Loyiso. My surname is Gola.
Okay.
You want my clan name too?
Okay.
You want my clan name?
Yeah. Go off.
Kabani.
Go off.
Umajek, unogazi, umthwemboji, abasithandayo basibiza omayeye.
Okay.
So if you fuck with me, you call me Mayeye. That's my clan name.
I feel you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Mangabani. That's me.
And what do you do?
I do stand up mostly.
Mostly. And that's just it.
Yeah, mostly just stand up, yeah.
Okay. And where you from? That's how the conversation
Cape Town.
starts. Where exactly in Cape Town? Like I need to talk
I've
about.
stayed a lot of places in Cape Town. I stayed in Guguletu, I stayed in Observatory, I stayed in Claremont. Yeah,
Right.
Those are the 3 main places.
Okay.
Different parts of my life as well.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So we're gonna like just mainly like talk about your background because obviously
Okay.
your background matters.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it contributes to who you are today.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like obviously.
But it's not definitive of who I am.
Of course not.
Right? Because I grew up in really violent places, but I'm not a violent dude.
Right.
Right,
Why do you
so-
think that's the case?
Because you have to make the effort to understand what that means and just unlearn it sometimes.
Right.
Just because you from a specific place, it's not definitive of you. There's certain parts of it that are very valuable, but that you can't now just be like, yo, I'm from this place, therefore. It
Right.
doesn't work that way. That's how you have a horrible existence. That's how someone is able to. First of all, you gotta understand that the ghetto is not designed for you to succeed.
100%.
Even if you do succeed, it's not designed for you to succeed.
Yeah.
So you can't like embrace it in that way.
Of course.
And I know it's a fucking crazy thing to say because there's a lot of culture that comes from impoverished situations and ghetto. But you have to understand the fundamental of that situation.
Right.
It's a bad situation to be in.
Right. And it's a bad situation. That's
It's
why
a
I always
horrible
tell
situation to be in because they cramp you up, they take resources away, and you're scrambling for resources, which leads to all kinds of things. And it's not that those conditions are not specific to how black people would experience. Anybody who's put in those conditions,
Right.
would
Have the same
act
experiences.
that way.
Right.
Would
right.
react that way. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Makes
it's not
perfect
like,
sense.
yeah.
It makes perfect sense because I was actually talking to a homie the other day.
Yeah.
They were asking me, she was basically saying she wants to go back to the hood and create libraries and whatnot. And I was telling her that the hood was, like, we can't actually
You have to destroy it.
gentrify the hood. Like
Yeah.
we need to like make like
New
get rid
shit.
of it and create something new because no matter how you try to gentrify it, it was still not
Yeah.
it was not created to
Yeah.
lead way into like a new train of thought because
understand
and
what
that's
you- yeah.
why everyone in the hood will know each other and that's why we all like they all not necessarily they but we all have the same ideas like when you're in the hood because person next door you never really see someone new, you know what I mean, in comparison to let's say if you're living in Rosebank and your next door neighbor is Peter and your other next door neighbor is
I hear what you said.
Linda and they're all from like different areas so they all have
It's a
completely
difficult,
different
it's a,
train of thought.
it's a difficult thing to unscramble.
Right.
It's not
Extremely difficult.
because it's literally there to fuck with you.
Right, it was made to fuck with you.
It was made to fuck
No
with
matter
you.
how
so
you
it's
try to
hard.
put as many flowers and trees, it's still made to
Nah,
fuck with you.
I don't play that shit. I tell dudes straight up, like, find out that shit is not, you know, it's not Disneyland.
Right.
It's meant to fuck with you. It's meant for you not to prosper. You can't.
You can. I mean, we have those people
You
that
can.
Yeah.
That means you're an extraordinary motherfucker. But the average dude,
Right.
that shit is gonna fuck them up.
Of course. Right. Okay. We already went straight into the conversation.
All
But, like,
conversations with me are heavy, my brother.
your background.
Yeah.
How did you grow up? Obviously. Okay. Where did you
what
grow up?
specifically do you want to know?
When did it
about
all
my brother?
start?
What did
Loyiso's
what all
born.
start?
Loyiso's born. Where does Loyiso live when he's born? Does Loyiso have both parents there? Does Loyiso have any siblings?
I have siblings. I have siblings. I have both my parents are alive. You gotta ask very specific questions to get, because if you're random, just ask me what you want to ask me.
I bet.
And then I'll say if I want to answer the question or not.
Okay.
But don't be like, where did it all begin? Like, my nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Just tell me what you want to know, and then I'll
Okay, no,
I'll
straight
be able
up.
to have a
How
conversation.
many siblings do you have?
2 siblings.
Right.
Yeah.
So, at what point in your life did you know that you have a gift when it comes to stand up?
There wasn't really a moment.
Right.
This shit happened to me quite sporadically.
Right.
And it was in high school. I was young. I was really exploring with stuff.
Right.
And I ran with it. That was it. And I was lucky enough to explore it when I was lucky enough to explore it when I was less cautious.
Right.
I think if I had started it now, it would be a way more difficult thing. But I started it when I was 17.
Right.
Which, at 17, most things seem easy. If they're difficult, they become easier with time.
Yes.
And stand-up was one of those things which became like more accessible and more familiar with time and understood techniques and all that shit.
Right.
With time. And that's life generally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, right, in high school, I said, I heard that you were really big into sports. What kind of sports were you into in high school?
I was into a whole bunch of shit. I was into cricket a lot.
Right.
And me and my friends it was crazy. We used to bunk school because when we were in Cape Town, we would bunk school and go watch test matches in Newlands during the day. And then it was crazy. But I remember the last time I was like, actually no, fuck cricket. I went to Newlands with a bunch of friends of mine, and we snuck in. We didn't have money, we were kids. And the ice cream guys used to sneak us in.
Right.
So one of my friends had like a guy who sold ice cream in the grounds.
Right.
And then we would just trade uniform and we would all be in. It would be like 6 of us. And we'd watch the test match in the grass. But we'd get there early and we'd watch it in the grass.
Right. How old were you around this time?
Probably like 15, 16.
Okay.
But then, we were constantly being abused at the stadium.
Right.
And also Makhaya, they used to really, Makhaya he'd be at the boundaries and South African cricketers just abuse him, and I just didn't understand. It really messed with me.
Right.
And it messed with my relationship with the sport. I was like, what are you talking about? This dude just got 10 wickets at Lords.
What?
And they would really just abuse him, and they would call him kafir. It was crazy, man. I mean, this is like 99, 2000.
What?
And I, you know, I remember who. It was me, Speech, Kauta, and this other mate, Biddy. This last time I went, and we were playing Australia. South Africa was playing Australia, and we were in the cricket ground. And they were abusing Mackay, and I remember the guy was shouting "Gaffer" behind us, and we turned around and we were like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we were really pissed off.
What the fuck?
And he started calling us Gaffer. I was like, yo, man, I can't be here anymore.
Right.
I can't fuck with these people.
Anymore.
I can't fuck with this thing that's happening. And I just never really, I kind of gradually got out, but I could play, I could bowl. I was playing at school, so I was into cricket, and then I played basketball. I mean, I played basketball at a very young age.
Right.
Football, I played. Football I was playing like when I was a kid. I never took liking to rugby at all.
Why?
I just didn't like it. It just wasn't a sexy sport for me. It wasn't like a thing that I gravitated to. It wasn't played by people I found cool.
Right.
Like, so it was like, I thought Michael Jordan was cool, but if you put Francois Pina next to Michael Jordan, you're like, this dude looks corny as shit.
Of course. Yeah,
So you're gonna go
totally get what you mean. So you didn't really fuck with it because it didn't.
Nah, I didn't like Frank. Like, I thought, okay, whatever, it's cool, but I mean, if you put Chester Williams next to Michael Jordan looks bad. Or Tracy McGrady.
And even the aura, like the persona.
Yeah, the vibe, they dress better. It's just a better thing.
Right.
You know, the other one is hanging out with fucking Steve Hoffman, the other one's hanging out with Michael Jackson. I'm fucking with the other guy.
It goes without saying,
And it's just cool, and also they look like you, and you're a kid, you're highly impressionable.
Right.
And your decision's immediate as a child. You're like, you don't have time to convince me. I connect with what I connect with.
Right.
And that's it.
So 16, you were a petrol attendant. I need to understand that. Like, what made
Oh,
you...
no, I mean, that's just, it's just I mean, working at the petrol place is purely just to make money, man. Just to make extra money. That's literally it.
Of course. But
It's like it's you making money. It's like you, by any means, you're making money. That's it. That's literally it.
So you were just making money for what? To just go to these games?
To buy Jordans, to buy... I remember one of my checks, I bought the Levi Engineer
You're
jeans.
trying to see. Yeah, I think you guys should pour him up.
Yeah, just pour a little bit. What's that? Oh yeah, just mix it a little bit with water.
Obviously can't have that on camera, so take those glass, you know. You're not deserving.
Yeah, so it was that. It was just trying to earn money.
Right, so it wasn't like
really
a
trying to
survival type thing. You know? Like you just wanted to get like extra shit that possibly your parents didn't understand why you wanted.
Nah, I mean my parents also didn't have like the means to get it for me.
Right.
They were already paying like crazy fees. So it was also just a sense of independence.
Okay.
I mean I'm 16, that's the legal working age in South Africa.
Right.
A little bit of water as well.
Did you go to university?
Nah, I didn't go to university. I did try to go to university.
What did you want to study?
I did some economics.
Right.
But the problem was, I kind of decided on what I wanted to do, and I was just being bamboozled as to the importance of education, which I do find it important, but it wasn't important to me.
Right.
I think like I understand the idea of educating myself in a lot of issues that I need to educate myself on.
Right.
And I'd already chosen a career. So those are the real two reasons why people educate themselves, for career and information to do the shit they really want to do.
Right.
So I wasn't really interested in education, but I thought like, as a safe bet. So I think I was about, I'm trying to remember how old was I when I decided, I think I was about 26 or 7.
Right.
I registered at UNISA, but I was doing stand-up and I was taking it really seriously. And then what happened was, I remember when I dropped out, I was in Hong Kong. I just went to Hong Kong for like 2 weeks.
Right. Where did you get the money to go to Hong Kong for 2 weeks?
Where did I get the money?
Yeah.
I just had Luke, man. Like, yo, bro.
You
I
hit
was
a lick?
26. I've been working since I was 17. What do you mean? Where do I get money?
I
when
mean,
I'm
it's
20?
still.
I had Luke,
There's a
man.
lot of people that have jobs that never like left this country.
Nah, bro. Okay, I understand. Okay. For my 25th birthday, I had never traveled.
Right.
So for my 25th birthday, I was like, oh man, I need to start traveling. So on my 25th birthday, I remember I bought myself a ticket to London.
Right.
And I'd go to Paris and then I'd go to Rome. Yeah. I was just gonna backpack
Right.
for like 10 days. I was 25.
Right.
And when I went on the trip, and I was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm 25, I've never traveled. I'm 37 now. I'm on my fourth passport. I'm just like, I just decide like, you know.
Off the bat, like, yo,
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
and it's been like 12 years of like real like traveling. Like when I really looked at my passport like a year and a half ago, I was like, oh shit, I have not spent more than 2 weeks in one city in 2 years.
That's fucking crazy.
It was mad. Like actually this lockdown, because we were about to get into some really extensive tours, because my videos were doing well online, so they were trying to send me out to like a lot of places. Because I'm in London, they're always sending me out to places. So I'll be in Oslo for like 2 weeks, just building an audience and just being there and just performing whatever. And then they'll send me to Finland, which is crazy because what's crazy about the internet is that I'm going on tangents, go with it.
Right.
I think like sometimes what's happened, and I'm going back to the performative behavior of human beings. So people perform and understand this shit of what it looks like to be grinding.
Right.
And then you're like, oh no, the real grind encompasses a lot of sacrifice.
100%.
Right? So sometimes you're like, oh, you think you're grinding because you earn it. And those are two different things. You could be earning, but you're not grinding.
Right.
Because money is the biggest distractor. So sometimes you get someone who does things, and I'll give you an example. Like you get a guy, he's talented at something.
Right.
And so an industry kind of identifies his talent.
Right.
And exploits it in a different way.
Right.
But he really doesn't want to fuck with those people.
But because there's money.
But there's money there. So
Right.
he's spending 10, 12, 15 years in this thing and he's accumulating capital.
Right.
But he's neglected his real shit.
100%.
And so for me, it's crazy. Sometimes I'll be like, I was in was it Qatar, and I bump into Coffee, and he's like, yo, I'm going to a city I've never been to, going to Kopi. He's like, I've never even been to Kopi. He's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to Barcelona. And it's literally we walk past each other like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that. That dude, he did what I'm doing. And that's the only way to break it into the world.
Right.
Anybody can have a hit.
Right.
I could have a hit. Anybody in this room can have a hit.
Right.
Make a song that connects. But to have a career requires a lot of sacrifice and that's what he did. So
Right.
he has a career. So even people are like, there was a dude who was talking about, yo, Coffee doesn't have. I'm like, yeah, he has a career though. Because he's gone to those places that no one goes to for 10 years.
For doing that.
So when he goes now, they're like, yo, that's our guy. Because he's
Right.
been going there for 10 years. Like I go to Oslo, go to places that people don't even go.
Right.
So careers are quite tricky, man. So sometimes I just want to tell people like, hits are cool. You can have a hit, man. Everyone can get a hit. What's important is a career, and careers are more difficult.
Right.
Hits, no one knows what a hit needs.
Right.
But there's, you kind of have an idea of what a career
needs.
A lot of discipline, a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot of shit that a career needs that a person with a hit doesn't have.
Right.
Yeah,
I get you.
and I'm using it purely on a musical basis.
Yeah. I
But
totally get what
it's
you
tricky.
mean,
But if you study what coffee did, which I did,
Right. Why did you study what he did? Why?
because it took long. I mean, I once sent him like this DM, and I don't have his number, but I was like, oh fuck, man, what you did is on another level.
Right.
It's like, because for me, what's satisfying is a guy who chips away,
Right.
and you see the chip away, and you say, oh shit,
He's gone.
yeah, and you're like, and sometimes some people just come out of nowhere, and sometimes it's not out of nowhere, but they've been grinding and you haven't seen it. But for me, what I find satisfying is just seeing a person chip away.
Right.
For me, he has a career because he put in the hours, and people who put in the hours know how to manage a career.
Right, because you put in the hours.
Yeah, you put in the
jump
hours.
on stairs.
And so sometimes I think what I always try to say to people is like, you gotta love the thing that you do.
Right.
So that it doesn't seem like you're wasting your fucking time.
Right.
So
Yeah, you're big on time.
Yeah, and so what happens is, like, for me, there's a lot of shit that happens in my life that's dope shit. But what's important is the reward of my whole thing is that I get to do stand-up.
Right.
I get to go to Oslo and do stand-up. Whether I win an Emmy or an Oscar, those things are immaterial. The reward
Doing what you love.
is not the awards. The reward is doing what you love.
Right.
And if that's your compass, oh, you're good. Because you'll always appreciate the thing that you love.
Right.
So when dudes is like, I didn't get the award, what are you crying about award?
You're doing what you love.
winning because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
You're winning. Like, that's a winning, you're winning. What are you talking about? I make clothes, people wear them. That's what I want.
Right.
So why does it matter at what scale it exists in? Why does it matter what scale it exists in? Right? So some people do Madison Square Garden, some people do rooms of 100 people. They perform.
But you still
It's the
do what you
same
love.
feeling.
Right.
So why you bugging?
Totally get what you mean. It's crazy.
That's life, So because the idea of playing Madison Square Garden, the industry, the people don't owe that to you.
Right.
So it might not ever happen. So what if it doesn't happen? Is your life worthless? No, you already have them. You're already winning.
You already got
Because you're
what
doing
you
the
love.
shit that you love. That's it. That's life.
Right. I totally get it. Makes so much
Yeah,
fucking
that's
sense.
So I try to get that into people's heads. Like, it doesn't matter who the
But when
biggest
did it
actor
hit
is.
you? Like, when did you get it? Because I'm
Oh
sure
no,
you
I'm
get it your whole
37,
life.
bro. I got all kinds of wisdoms. It just comes with age.
Right. So the book that you were reading at that point in time was this book about the guy that killed, I think it was
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, it kind of gave me an impression that you are invested in what happens or happened in apartheid, or kind of like politics.
Nah, I mean, it's a fascinating story. The story was the reason I read that particular book.
Right.
It was just fascinating. The guy killed Verwoerd.
Right.
What's the context? How? Why? What's his motivation? How do they react to it? I mean,
So it's not specific about the topic, but it's about the story.
Yeah, I care about what I care about. So if I care about something, I read about it.
All right. What you reading right now?
The crazy thing is, right now, I just read Long Walk to Freedom again.
You see what I mean? So that must mean you have some kind of interest when it comes to not necessarily politics, but what happened back then in terms of politics.
Yeah, I mean, the book I read before that was about Jose Mourinho.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I find what I'm interested in, and the book I read before that was about it was about psychology and trauma.
Right.
So there's no one route, right? It's about what I'm interested in at the time. The reason I read Long Walk to Freedom again is because I'm trying to write something that pertains to those.
Oh, so you're trying to write something?
No, I mean, when I'm saying write something, it's not a book. It's not necessarily a book.
Okay.
It could be, I could be constructing a 3-minute joke that needs this information. That's what I'm saying.
So is that how you construct your jokes?
Not necessarily, I'm just saying it could.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
I'm like, there's something that I need to be specific about if I'm talking about this particular issue. But
need to know
I
what to
think,
talk
okay, the reason I read the book is because there's a wave of new people who are calling Nelson Mandela a sellout. And
Yes.
it's like, Because you're tweeting from your house, my nigga.
Yes.
You've never given your life to anything. You've never
Sacrificed anything.
You've never sacrificed anything. You've been in Cape Town for 2 months and be like, I miss my family.
Yeah.
You've never, and I go, I get it, I get it. It's easy for you to say that.
Of course.
So
Sitting
I had
on
to,
your couch on your iPhone.
I had to be like, okay, this is what I had to do. I had to go, I don't agree with that opinion, but I could be wrong. Let me investigate if I'm wrong. So I read the thing again. I read it a long time ago. And yeah, Nelson Mandela was fascinating. It's just that when people tell his story, they tell it in a particular context. They don't really tell the G
real
shit.
story. Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yo, this dude was on some real shit.
Yeah, because I watched a couple of his documentaries too. Because I was also like, it's actually
He like
the same reason.
sold you out.
Yeah. I also wanted to understand that on what basis.
Those
would
are
people ever
heavy
say that.
accusations.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. What are your mantras before we leave here? What do you live by? What do you go by? Like, what is the one thing in the morning that you kind of tell yourself?
Yo, bro, you niggas is stuck on this internet shit. Jesus.
Dude, you didn't understand the
Yeah, I'm like, do I have a mantra?
I'm sure you have something to tell yourself.
The one thing I've always said to myself since I was a young kid, and my friend Martin used to say this all the time. We always used to say, he's crazy, there ain't nothing to it but to do it.
So that's it, full stop.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing to it but to do it.
There ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Full stop.
That's it. I think that's been the longest mantra I've used. Obviously there's like mantras
Yeah.
for different situations, but there ain't nothing to it but to do it.
And that's it.
Everyone like, oh, this shit is so humongous. There ain't nothing to it but to do it, my nigga. Just do it.
I'm gonna ask you another.
You wear Nikes all day. What does Nike tell you to do?
Just do it. So I want to ask you one last internet question. What inspired you?
Oh, I'm out of here. I'm done. Yo, fuck this. This nigga turned this whole shit into a Hishchanot. I'm having such a good time. Fuck out of here.
I guess that's how we ended. Thank you so much for watching this episode of